Welcome to the Reckoning podcast, where we stoke a campfire, gather around, and have real-life conversations with old friends, new friends, professionals, and just shoot the shit. Reckoning all things from hunting, outdoors, beauty, entrepreneurship, relationships, life, and more. It's all just a reckoning. As you know, the essence of this, I would love to be really sitting around a campfire with you right now, listen to it crackle, all the goodness. But we're doing virtually, what totally works out, especially you've got baby girl and you're able to just do it when you can. But I always love when people gather around the campfire, seeing everybody's got like a drink or a snack that you got to bring around the campfire. Like you just can't sit around a campfire empty-handed. What is your go-to?
Honestly, I'm a Coke Zero guy. A lot of people
Yeah.
give me shit for it, but I like Coke Zero. And then snack around the campfire. You have to have s'mores.
S'mores,
You have
of
to have the
course.
mallows, graham cracker, and chocolate. You have to do
Yeah,
it. That's like essentials, I feel, when you have a
for
campfire.
sure. For sure. Have you ever done them with the fudge stripe cookies?
No, actually have never
What?
done that. Yeah, never
Oh
done
my
that.
gosh. It's my kid's favorite and it makes it easier because all you got to get is those fudge striped cookies, you know, that like one side's got all the chocolate, the other side's all striped. You do the mallow and then use two of those and you don't have to have the graham cracker and the chocolate. And
That's
then you've
true.
got cookies for snacking too.
Heck
Yeah.
yeah. All right. Well, yeah, that's actually pretty good. But I do like the graham cracker cookie though. Like, I
I
mean, just
know.
as I feel that makes it. I
It
don't know.
is.
I'm a
It
graham
is.
cracker fan though.
Got to do the OG, right?
Oh yeah.
That's awesome. Do you go by so it's Weston. Do you go by West too?
Yep.
Okay,
Mostly
cool.
Wes.
Mostly
Like,
West.
yeah.
Your friends call you West, kind of
Mother.
a thing.
Yep, exactly. Mother's the only one that really calls me Weston, especially
Got
like
it.
when I got in trouble, it was the whole
Oh,
name, Weston James McArthur, and then
uh-huh.
you knew you were in for something.
Oh,
And it
for
wasn't
sure.
good. It wasn't good ever.
For sure. When my husband calls me Brittany, I'm like, yeah. Like
What
I
I do
know,
wrong.
yeah, I know there's something wrong. So I totally get that. I'm super curious to hear, how did you get introduced to the outdoors? I think, did you say we met at the hunting expo
Mhm.
in Salt Lake City? And I think you said, are you from Idaho?
No, I'm actually from
Oh,
West Jordan. I grew up
West
in West
Jordan.
Jordan.
Okay. Okay. So how did you get introduced to the outdoors?
Honestly, so I growing up, I had a bonus dad. So I grew up
Uh-huh.
with my stepdad and my mom. And my real father actually lived in Price. And so they both had backgrounds in hunting and big game and fishing and all that stuff. So my real dad actually owned a pheasant farm. So
Oh.
I grew up hunting pheasants and chuckers and stuff. And so I had that aspect with him and fishing and
Mhm.
stuff. And then my stepdad, he was more of a big game hunter. And so I got into the elk and the deer and all that other stuff. So I kind of had the best of both worlds. They both loved fishing, so it worked out in that way. But I kind of had the upland side with my dad, my real father, and then I kind of had the big game side with my stepfather. But I was just lucky and fortunate to have two awesome individuals that were passionate about the outdoors. And this is I do what I do because of them.
Yeah, that's incredible. That's so awesome. I always love hearing how um it gets passed down to generations. And if you're able to continue that on, possibly with your daughter, how neat that is, that there's going to be a lot of things that you learned from one of them that one day you'll be repeating possibly to her. And that's
Oh,
always so cool to hear.
absolutely. No, and it's kind of funny. The wife jokes around like, when do you think you're just going to be able to take her out? Like she's going to have to grow up and, be able to walk on her own. I'm like, oh no, she'll go in a backpack. We'll
Yeah.
we'll get after it here, hopefully sooner than later.
Yeah, definitely. I know that's I got a Kilty backpack for my little guy and it
Do
was
you like that?
awesome.
Do
I
you like
loved
that
it.
stuff?
I loved it. And it's funny, he's 6 now. Well, he's going to be 6, but we kept the Kelty until like literally January. And I think I was just in denial of the fact that he can't fit in that backpack
Yeah,
anymore. And
I
he
got
was
you.
too. He was like, "No, what?" I'm like, "Yeah, sorry, dude. Your time's up. You gotta hike."
Yeah.
But
Well,
I
I
did
bet that
it.
was good cardio for you though,
Oh,
carrying
it
him
was.
around.
It was so good. And it too, they sit and like look left and right over your shoulder. So you also have the like the swinging aspect as they're looking for horns and looking all over the place. but yeah, they get a different point of view. So I recommend a kiltie. I loved my kiltie, and they have
See,
all the different attachments for, the visors and everything. So it was a
awesome.
good way to go. So definitely recommend.
Well, I'm definitely gonna have to do that then.
Yeah, do for sure. What do you remember your very first experience hunting or fishing?
Um, like the only reason I think I remember is because we have pictures of
Okay.
like the very first time I was around deer and stuff. I don't necessarily remember that memory according to myself, just
Mm-hmm.
from pictures and stuff. But the earliest memory I have outdoors is I was deer hunting with my dad, and I had shit my pants. And he was a little upset because we had just got to the top of the mountain.
How old were
And
you?
shoot, I was young. I was like
Okay.
3 or 4, like something like that, 3 or 4. But I just remember I didn't want to go outside because there was snow on the ground. And I
Mm.
remember even like thinking, I don't want to poop out here,
Yeah.
like this is
It's
cold.
cold.
And I shit my pants. And he was not happy with me. And like it's not like he had an extra pair of underwear or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's actually the first memory like I have of being out in the outdoors, and I can actually remember him getting pissed off a little bit with me and
Yeah.
just like, what are you doing? Like you know better, and so
Yeah.
yeah, that I would say that's probably my very first memory I have. Or when we went fishing one time, I remember, do you know those little ball cactuses that have like the little red flowers and stuff on them?
Yeah.
Oh, I straight up went to grab it, and I had to learn the hard way. Those are cactus. You don't want
Yeah.
to touch that. And so, yeah, I remember pulling cactus out of my hands and stuff. So
Oh
those are my
man.
first two earliest memories that I have.
Earliest memories. Um, on that hunt where you shit your pants, were you hunting deer?
Yeah.
Deer. Did you
Mhm.
guys get something after that? Do you remember?
No, we actually, because I remember him saying like, well, you can't just sit around and sit in your drawers like that. And I
Yeah,
remember we
that's
even
true.
like took them off and like dug a hole, put them in the mountain, and just like had to
Off
go
you
back to
went.
the cabin and stuff. So yeah.
Yeah, that's true. I guess if you didn't have a change of pants. We always joke, like the running joke with our family is like anytime anyone has to poop, like shit's about to go down. Like it's
Mhm.
always good luck if
Yeah.
someone's got to go to the bathroom.
No,
It's
I
always
get you.
like make sure the guns are close. That's always when something has to go down. So I was wondering if maybe that
No, I've
rings
actually
true to
had
you.
I've had an experience where I have literally been squatting, doing my
Yeah.
thing, look over, and there's a buck sitting right there.
Oh my
Didn't even
gosh.
know, like I've been there, doing my business, had no idea, and actually left my gun, obviously,
Oh.
up with the pack and stuff. And so, yeah, I kind of screwed myself over with that one.
Now learning lesson, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Oh my gosh, that's too funny. I always hope every time I'm like out wandering, especially being a girl, I wander farther from the truck just, to go pee or whatnot. I'm like, when's my time gonna come that I'm just gonna wander across that really big shed because nobody else had to wander off into the bushes to pee.
Mhm.
It's yet to happen.
One of these days.
One
One of
of
these
these
days.
days, my luck will come. Did you grow up like filming your hunts?
No.
Because now that's kind of what you do for work.
Yeah, never did it. We never,
Really?
we hardly even took pictures. Yeah,
Oh,
like my early days of hunting, like I have hardly any pictures of my first animals or anything like that. Like we were never involved with that. And honestly, even now, I still feel like I don't know what the hell I'm doing while I'm out there and stuff. Like it's just like point and shoot, and like
yeah.
and sometimes I even think, why do people watch me on YouTube? Like I'm just an idiot roaming around in the hills just being goofy, So, but no, we never filmed, we never did all that. So this was kind of, all new to me.
Like your first shed. Do you remember that first shed?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I was 11 years old, and we were deer hunting once again,
Mm-hmm.
and I walked up on this little 4 point, and I just remember thinking like, whoa, what is this doing on the ground instead of on its head, Because
Yeah.
when I was growing up, I just thought deer just kept getting bigger, like they didn't shed. They just kept adding more points, getting older and stuff like that. And I remember asking my dad, like, what is this? And he goes, it's a shed. I'm like, yeah, but why is it on the ground? Why isn't it on his head? He's like, dude, they do it every year. And to me, it blew my mind. I had no idea, and I was 11.
Mhm.
And then I mean, we found a couple after that and stuff, but I didn't really get into shed hunting until like 2012. And
Mm.
then because I used to build cell phone towers, and my buddy
Okay.
Cam and I, because I remember him even asked me, dude, we should go shed hunting out here. And in my mind, I was thinking, what, you want to go to Home Depot and look at some sheds? Like, what the hell are you talking about?
Yeah.
Didn't even register. And he's like, no, bro, like we need to go find some antlers. And we were actually in Wyoming at the time, and we decided to pick a canyon that was right next to our work site. We went up, and honestly, I can't remember the exact amount, but I know we found a grip load. And so even 100 yards out the truck, I found my first little 4-point shed. I still have it to this day. And
Nice.
then like 100 yards later, I found a brown deer set laying on top of each other. And from that moment on, I lost my shit, and I was just like, this is awesome. Like,
Yeah.
I love this. And so that's honestly how I really got into shed hunting and finding my first sheds.
Awesome. That is so cool. It really, there's literally, once you start, there's not a thrill like it.
No.
And it can just be shitty, 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 but you still have that, even though you're having a crappy day, like, at any moment it could just
Oh
change
yeah.
like that. And
Oh
then it
yeah.
just feels it again. It's so addicting, so
Oh,
addicting.
trust me, I've gone 15-mile days and got my ass kicked and not find anything, and then find one right next to the truck.
Oh yeah,
Like
yeah.
it happens.
Here, now that we know kind of the backstory of your outdoor experience and your first shed and really getting addicted to it, how did the filming start? And get into the nitty-gritty of how you're doing what you're doing now.
Alrighty. So it was back in 2014. I was just recently married with my wife. We were
Hmm.
sitting down on the couch in our first apartment, and we were watching YouTube and come across Eric Chesser's Firebull video. I watched that video, and I loved it, like the whole story behind it and how it all went down. And I fell in love with that aspect of filming your adventure. And
Hmm.
I remember after the video, I turned to my wife and I was like, this is what I want to do for a living. And she looks at me, she's like, YouTube? And I was like, no, like, I mean, yes, but no, like, I want to film hunts for a living. Like, I want to, do something that I enjoy. Like, I love that. Like, that was so much fun just to watch. And I was like, maybe, people want to watch my adventures, maybe that'd be fun for somebody. And so I I made a goal, basically, is like, this is what I want to do for a living, even if it started out as like a side gig or hobby or whatever. Like, I want to start doing that. And so from that point on, my wife and I kind of made a financial goal, like, hey, if you reach this amount, you can go full time, you know. And I started Rising Shed, doing YouTube and all that in 2016. And I was a weekend warrior, and mostly
Mhm.
Saturdays. But I didn't hardly miss any Saturdays. Like, my wife knew that was my getaway, that was my escape. And so every Saturday I'd go shed hunting, and then I'd film my adventures. And then sometimes we'd, you know, get lucky and go on Sunday and get a 2-day adventure.
Mhm.
And over time, I started just posting my videos and stuff, and people were like, hey, do you have any shirts and hats? I was like, no, but I'll make some. And I was even with my buddy Brian Potter, and he was like, dude, we need to make you some shirts and hats. And the very first time we went to Southtown Mall and made ourselves, like, he even bought himself like my own like Rising Shed shirt and hat and everything. And so both him and I were decked out, and we went shed hunting the next day. I made a video about it and said, hey, if you want shirts and hats, we're going to have some available, blah, blah, blah. Well, I made 24 hats, and then however many shirts, I can't remember, I think 48 shirts. And it took me like 8 months to sell through all that apparel. And at first I was thinking, well, maybe, this isn't the right move for me, like, but I wasn't marketing myself. I wasn't doing
Mhm.
anything. It was just like, hey, I had some shirts. You want one? And then uh I actually, because I told you I was doing towers and stuff,
Mhm.
I literally got to watch our company go up in flames. We had a tower fire, and literally when that thing happens, you're not welcome back in the industry, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And so I did excavation for 2 years, and I worked with another buddy and tried to help build his company. And I just kind of got to the point that I felt like I was worth more than what I was doing at the moment. And I was just like, man, I just want to do full-time rise and shed. Like, this is all I want to do. I want to go out and hike. I want to film my adventures. I want to, connect with people. I want to do all these things. And like I said, my wife and I had a financial goal. Took me 5 years to reach that goal. And I remember one day, uh, I had reached the goal, but kept on working and stuff. And I will never forget this. It was a Thursday, and I was doing an excavation, and a company had bored through our fiber optic line and a sewage line.
Mm.
And so I'm literally working in human piss and
Yep.
shit, and it stinks. I had to make my own hazmat suit, and I was just thinking to myself, like, what am I doing with my life? Like, I don't want to be doing this anymore. Like, this is so dumb. After that, on our ride home, I called my wife and I said, hey, I'm going full time with Rising Shed. And she was like, okay, let's do it. And I had obviously been talking about it before, but she was super supportive. Right after I got off the phone with her, I called Eric Chesser and I was like, hey, bro, I'm going full time Rising Shed. And he was just stoked. He was like, hell yeah. He's like, I've been waiting for this phone call. And after that, I called Ben Shed Crazy because so Ben and Eric are basically, those are my guys. Those are
Yeah.
my dudes, like, and those guys have helped me out more than anybody in this industry. They've helped me with the whole YouTube thing, business side of things. Like, they have honestly just been, a blessing in disguise. Like, those guys, they're my dudes. And so called both of them. They're just like, hell yeah, let's roll. And everybody was just super excited for me. And I'll be honest, I didn't really have a game plan. I was just going by the seat of my pants, and I'm just like, I'm just gonna make this work. Like, this is just what I want to do. This is it. And so I just kept going shed hunting, filming my adventures, filming my hunting adventures. And then uh I had a family friend out in Oregon that wanted me to film his sheep hunt. And so that was the very first time that I had ever filmed a hunt. And it was a freaking bighorn sheep hunt out in Oregon, out of all things. And I even looked back at that video. I was like, oh, I could have done this better. I could have done this better. But
Mhm.
everything is just a learning experience. It's all trial and
Right.
error. Like, nobody literally wrote a book about how to film hunts for a living and go shed hunting and da da da. And I will say, though, it's been nice to have the circle of people that I do in my life, because those are the people that have helped get me to where I am today. And that's one thing I will say about any entrepreneur or anything like that. You need an army of people. Like, it's hard to do it by yourself. Like, you need good people in your corner. And I'm huge on energy. I don't know,
Mm-hmm.
like, a lot of people, kind of get weird with that or whatever, but
No way.
karma and energy, I'm a firm
Same.
believer. Like, I live off that shit. And so I feel if you surround yourself with good people, like-minded people that want what's best for you, and you want what's best for them, that's the type of people you want in your corner, and that's the type of people you want throughout your life. And I've just been very blessed to have good people in my life, and especially people like yourself and your family and everybody that came out to the expos and all that stuff. Like, without you, I mean, you guys doing and supporting and doing all that for me, like, I don't grow, I don't go
Mm-hmm.
anywhere. And it's kind of hard for me sometimes, just because it's like people spend their hard-earned money on some of my apparel or my recovery rub or whatever the case may be. And I guess I have that imposter syndrome a little bit still. Just, it's like, man, like, what did I do to deserve this? Like, what did I
Mm-hmm.
do to have somebody go to my website, buy a shirt or a hat or something like that? Like, what did I do? And Eric tells me all the time, he's like, dude, you're an entertainer. Like,
Yeah.
that's people go to your channel to watch you because they want to laugh, they want to feel good about themselves, they want to, and he names off all these things. And then it's like, all right, like, I can deal with that.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's still hard for me. It honestly really is. It's still hard for me to just get my mind around, like, I am an entertainer. I entertain people on YouTube, or whatever the case may be. So it's
No.
kind of crazy how it all came about, but that's the story, how it all happened.
That is so cool. I love hearing that. And I love hearing that you reached out to somebody that was so much farther ahead than you. I think it's so important to have kind of that mentor. I'm always super surprised too. And I don't know why. I think it's just in different industries I've been in, so many people that are more successful than you seem to not want to help. But in outdoor industry, the more people I've gotten to talk to and the badass entrepreneurs like yourself, or the entertainers or the professional hunters, it blows my mind genuinely how supportive everybody is.
Oh yeah.
And I think that goes to show just the community in general. It's good to hear that you have imposter syndrome too, because I think so many people watch and see what you're doing, and yet, like, you would never guess that.
Really?
Yeah, never.
I don't know. Like I think too, just I kind of, I guess, don't have the best image of myself. It's just like I'm an idiot roaming around in the hills, guys. Like that's all it is. Like I'm nobody special. I'm nothing, It's just like I just enjoy what I do. That's all it is. I love what I do.
Yeah. And I think that goes to show. And I think that's probably it. I would say that it's just there's so much humbleness there.
Well, I appreciate it. And
Yeah,
I believe in the law of abundance. Like
totally.
anybody that comes up to me that has a question or anything like that, I'm going to answer that question.
Mhm.
Unless it's like, where do you go shed hunt? Then I won't be answering those type of questions.
Yeah. Yeah.
But no, like if anybody ever needs help or anything, I'm an open book. Like if they want to learn how to edit better, if they want to learn how to film better or what equipment, I'm an open book. I share everything just because I do have that abundance mentality. And I feel it's true though. Like you help other people, that's going to come back to you.
Oh, 1000%. And I've seen so many people in my life that are extremely successful, and they are the first people that are willing to help somebody or give pointers or look back and say, this is what I wish I would have been able to do. And I have to say too, when we met you, obviously walking around the hunting expo, there's booths beyond booths there, and you get to meet everybody and everything. And that was one thing. You got to meet my 11-year-old son and my 6-year-old son and my husband. And that's when we walked away on the ride home. It was like, God, like, Wes is just a cool dude. Like, we were just so blown away about how cool you are. And I think that goes to show your energy and that abundance. So I think you're definitely out there providing that, especially because when we first got to the expo, you were like packed full of people, man. We were like, we're gonna have to wait and circle back to get Coop's shirt.
No, I just have a lot of awesome people that help support the brand and the mission. And it's cool though. Like even with what you just said, like it just, that hits right here. Like you just
Yeah.
get those butterfly feelings, the goosebumps and stuff. It's fun to hear stuff like that, but it's also just like, man, I'm just doing my thing.
Yeah. So I'm sure you had a lot of people, at the expo and even just in your DMs asking you, how would you go about starting your YouTube channel? Do you have any pointers for somebody that's having a moment watching your videos like you had watching Eric's, that are like, that's what I'm going to do? Do you have any pointers as far as here's how to start, or equipment, things you would suggest and do differently?
Honestly, to start, all you need is an iPhone or a phone. I
Mhm.
like iPhone just because it's compatible with Macs and you can just upload and download all that real quick. But all you need is a phone. You don't need the nicest gear or anything like that. And you just go out and you film everything. I would say more film is better than less film because then you can filter through. You get to choose what you want to share with people and what you don't want to share. And then you can have like a little storage of like stuff that you can just be sitting on and then just boom, come with it all.
Yeah.
Uh, but I would say film everything. Don't worry about viewers or followers, subscribers. That is just a number. More than
Mhm.
anything, if you're consistent with what you do, that's just going to happen over time. It just is. Like it just
Mhm.
has to. Like it just makes sense that way. The more you do it, the more people are going to enjoy it, the more people are going to see it, and boom, you just grow that way. So I wouldn't focus on any subscribers or views or anything like that. And don't worry about people that sit there and talk shit on your videos. Like a lot of people just, I feel if they're talking shit, they're jealous in my eyes. It's just like you're
Mhm.
doing something more than what they're doing, but they're just kind of upset about it. And so they're going to, kind of throw in their 2 cents. Let it go. Just
Yeah.
keep doing your thing and let it go. But I would say just film everything, have fun with it, show some personality, and don't be afraid to put yourself out there. Like, I know for myself, I was very afraid to actually upload a video with me talking and doing these things and stuff. And don't get me wrong, there's even still times that I'm filming myself, I'm like, I'm an idiot, like I can't. It's funny because I can't stand to watch myself. Like, I will edit a video, and then once I watch it through, make sure that everything, is according to how I like it,
Yeah.
I send it out, and I'll probably never watch it again, just because I don't like watching myself. Yeah, just if anybody wants to start a YouTube channel, just have fun with it. Just do your thing. It doesn't matter if you're an outdoor person, indoor person, you love gaming or whatever, just do it.
Yeah.
Like, you're never going to know until you try. So
Definitely. Do you think that the space is like saturated when people say it's too saturated, I can't get in? What are your thoughts on that?
I feel that's an excuse of you don't want to do it.
Yeah.
Because if you look at it, YouTube is still growing every single year. More subscribers, more people watching. Like, even like Mr. Beast, like, that guy is crushing the game. And he's just, if you have a great idea, you're never going to be oversaturating anything, because people are just going to be wanting to watch that. And so I don't know. I don't feel it's oversaturated actually at all. I feel like even if you were to start a YouTube channel today, you still have a chance to just go big time. If you make viral content, nothing's going to stop you.
I agree. And I think, what they always say, like, there's nobody else out there like you. So your personality is going to be, I think, what brings people to you. Like we talked about energy. People are going to be drawn to the person that's there in the content that you're providing. In our eyes, as we're watching and we're getting skunked like hell looking for sheds. Like, the only thing we can find is Cody finding road sheds in your road shed shirt, by the way.
I saw that. Hilarious. That was awesome. Yeah.
I was like, you suck. And that's funny. But as someone who's like, let's start with a beginner, they're listening to this. And for me to kind of give people like an idea, I had never done a lot of shed hunting until my husband started going when I was pregnant. And I'm like, it's kind of warmer. It'd be nice to get outside. We live in Utah, as do you. And it's like, oh, like, we're sick of being inside. That sounds nice to go hike around and look for horns, just hike around and look for horns, right? In quotations. And then when I was pregnant, I was sick of sitting at the house just waiting for this baby to come, as you probably know, when your wife was waiting for your daughter to come. And I took my little boy out shed hunting in the foothills by our house, and we would just hike around. We never found anything, but just being outdoors and doing it and being like, okay, now I really want to find a shed. That's when I was like, okay, Cody, like, let's go do this thing. Show me how to do it. We got the Kelty, like I was saying. I had Rivers on my back. He's swaying back and forth, looking for horns and singing. And that's kind of how I got started with just the basics. So what would you say if someone's listening to this and they're like, damn, that'd be cool. I've seen Wes's stuff. He finds horns. I would like to get outdoors. What's the basics of, like, here's a good way to start looking for sheds?
Your best bet is scouting. Scouting is the number one thing you could do in order to find sheds. You find the animals and you keep tabs on them, you're going to find sheds, like, without a doubt. As long as you don't have some dumbass go in there and push the animals around and push them out.
Yeah.
That's what people don't understand. If they're patient and they have, a group of 10 bucks or bulls or something like that, if they're just patient and just let them do their thing, all those bucks or bulls will drop in about the exact same area. Like, you could have 20 sheds instead of maybe one or two, just because that one buck or bull had just shed. So if you are just patient, I promise you, like, they will drop all around the exact same area. So scouting is the best thing that I could say that you could do. Next best thing is, obviously, you want to find sign. You want to be looking for tracks. You want to be seeing poop. I get discouraged if I'm not seeing tracks and poop. I go to another spot, because you got to think about it. In a winter range, you have all these animals in about this exact same area. There's going to be a lot of sign in there. So if you're not seeing sign, I would bail. And then having good optics is always a plus. For myself, I like to get up on high vantage points, and I will glass the exact same hillside 100 times. I'll move down 50 yards and I'll glass back. As long as you get a different angle at what you're looking at, dude, antlers hide behind sage trees or anything.
Mhm.
Like it blows my mind what even like big elk sheds will hide behind it. It's crazy.
I just
So
saw was it your first brown elk shed you found this year?
mhm,
You were saying that you moved just enough and then all of a sudden
yep,
there it was. That's
exactly,
crazy.
because it was an oak brush, and so where I was up higher, so there's oak brush right here, and then
Hmm.
behind it was the shed. So once I moved down the hillside, I could get that angle to actually see the shed behind the oak brush. So trust me, like as long as you're just moving, being constant with your glass, you're gonna find a lot more sheds. I probably glass up 60% of my sheds. Like I do a lot of glassing, a lot of glassing.
Good to know.
And obviously, the more time and the more miles you put into it, the more antlers you are going to find. A
Hmm.
lot of people just think, oh, if I go a hike for 3 hours or whatever in this little area, like it's not like that. Yeah, you can get lucky sometimes like that. Don't get me wrong.
Mm.
But a lot of people don't understand. I have put in so many miles and so much time in order to find sheds. And plus, once you do it more, you kind of know what to look for.
Mm.
Even when you go to different areas in different regions that have a whole different landscape, it's just you kind of know what animals like to feed on. You obviously know that they bed somewhere, you know that they have to have water. So you also want to put those kind of things into your head, like, okay, one, they need food, shelter, water. Two, you got to kind of figure out if you live in a snowier region, what the snow line is, because they're not going to be up at 10,000 feet and feet of snow. Like
Hmm.
they have to feed. And so you always want to put that in the back of your head too. Like, what elevation am I at? Um, Depending on where I go, I've found sheds from 4,000 feet all the way up to 10,000 feet. But it just depends on where you're at, especially here in Utah. I feel that sweet spot is right around 7,000 feet to 8,500 feet. That's just, what I have figured out for myself. And so once you kind of put all these things together, it just makes one, big machine of like, all right, I have this, and this, and this. I'm bound to find some sheds, but
Hmm.
essentially it's just finding the animals. That's how you're going to find more sheds, is you have to find the animals. And a lot of people, I get hit up almost daily, like, where do you find sheds? It's like, man, I don't give out spots.
Hmm.
That's just kind of, something that I have learned along the way, is just,
Yeah.
like, you don't share that type of information.
Hmm.
And just like anything else, if you want it bad enough, you work for it,
Well, yeah.
and you figure that stuff out.
Yeah. And it's going to be that much more rewarding when you do actually find something.
Exactly. Yes.
So much more
100%.
rewarding. What do you think? Is there something as you got into shed hunting that elevated your shed hunting? Like anything that you figured out along the way? So let's say like someone that's intermediate and they're seeing sign, they're seeing poop, they're seeing tracks, they know there's water, they've seen them in there, but they're still not seeing anything. Is there anything else that you were like, this really helped me? Is it just putting in more miles, being willing to go longer and farther?
That, or you can do a grid system. You can take apart that whole entire area instead of walking straight lines to like certain points that you want to get to. Go
Mm-hmm.
back and just grid it out. Go like however long your space is or however big your space is. Do 100-yard march this way, go up like 20 yards, do 100 yards back the other direction, and you just grid out throughout that entire area. Like instead of just doing straight lines, you want to,
Yeah.
especially for myself, like when I find something, especially when it's big,
Mm-hmm.
I'll do circles around that antler. Like I'll start out at a 10-yard radius, 40-yard radius, 60-yard radius, and I'll keep doing circles until hopefully I either find the other side, or I just be like, all right, F it, I got to go somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
And don't get me wrong, I'm the straight line walker. I see things, or even on when you're e-scouting or something, and you see
Mm-hmm.
an area that just looks good on e-scouting, it's like, I have to get here.
Yeah.
So I'm like beelining it to that exact point.
Right.
But you got to think about all the different stuff that you're missing.
Oh
So
yeah.
if you find a shed on top of a hillside or something like that, or even at the bottom, I would literally grid out that entire hillside, because chances are other bucks or bulls were there, and you don't know whether they kept on the bottom or they went through the middle or they went on the very top. It is just a lot of time and miles, honestly. It really
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
So
And it sounds like a lot of times too, when people think of time in miles, they're thinking farther miles, farther away from the truck. And a lot of times it may just be miles back and forth working that grid system versus just getting deep.
exactly. Yep, exactly. But with what you just said, I am the
Uh-huh.
type of person that loves to get away from the roads. I
Yeah.
love getting away from the people. Like that's just me. I don't know. I'm just in my element when I'm out in the hills. Like that's my therapy.
Same.
That's my happy place, you know? Like I don't
Mhm.
want to be bugged by Joe Schmo
Oh,
over here or
hell
anything
no.
like
I'm
that.
not going out there to have conversations with
Yeah,
people.
exactly. Well, I mean, you go with friends, obviously, but
Right.
you're
But even
going with those
still.
friends, you know? Like those are the people that I want to
Yeah.
associate with, you
Right.
know? But I'm never going to knock somebody doing what they love. Like if I see somebody else hiking, especially in the area that I've had a lot of success in or anything like that, I'm never going to knock somebody doing what they love. Like they're out there doing the exact same thing I am. They're trying to find
Hmm.
sheds because they enjoy it and all that. So I don't know. It's kind of like a double-edged sword because it's like I respect you for what you're
Hmm.
doing, but damn it, why are you here? You know,
Yeah.
like I
Yeah.
don't know. It's
No,
it's
we're that way
interesting that way.
too. Your sweet spot's a place that just have your heart too. And you're like, this is my spot, but like obviously it's public land too. So
Yep.
right on, cool. Are you guys finding anything? But I agree. That's my sanctuary. Getting out there,
Mhm.
having time. It's my form of meditation, really.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's
See, and
awesome.
so a little background too. My real father actually committed suicide when I was 17.
Mm.
That's why I donate to the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention with every sale at my website. But going with what you just said, that's your meditation, that's your sanctuary. There's literally been times that I've been hiking around and I have smelt my dad's musk.
Oh,
Like,
that gives me chills.
you know the smell Stetson, or do you remember Stetson?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's what he wore. And so
Wow.
like I smell that sometimes. Like it's weird. Out in the hills, just doing my thing away from all the people, and all of a sudden that'll come. And I always wear a necklace. My wife made me some dog tags and stuff, and I don't know, I may be weird, but I always say a little silent prayer right before my hikes. I grab my necklace, rub them together, and I just go out and do my thing. But yeah, that's my happy place. That's
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 incredible.
where that's where I just do a lot of thinking,
Hmm.
especially either for business or for life or whatever the case may be. Like I guess some of my best ideas have come while I've been just out hiking doing my thing.
Yeah, totally. No, I thank you for sharing that and being so open about that because it's so important. And it really is. I think so many other people have those experiences and they're not willing to talk about them.
Mhm.
And a lot of people, as I've traveled, that don't understand being outdoors or hunters, the more that I talk to them about really that calmness that it brings, the more you can see them thinking like, okay, I kind of get that now.
Mhm.
Because I'm the same way, like with you, as far as it business. I mean, my brain, some days it's just like firing with business ideas. And I'm in the middle of nowhere and can do nothing about it either. So it's like
Yep.
typing stuff on my phone and like, oh, well, I remember. And being so inspired or having those moments of doubt or having questions answered, even I think whether it is business or family or just personal stuff, that sometimes you get answers and you have those epiphanies and oh shit moments like, oh,
Oh yeah.
okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely. No, and it's funny because I'm a convert of the church, and I've told my wife this 1,000 times, but like I feel the spirit, or I have had more spiritual encounters out in the hills than any day at church. Like
Hmm.
that to me, that's special out there, like especially like when I go with friends and stuff, like yeah, I'm with people that I want to be around and stuff, but that's like my time, that's how I choose to, I guess, spend my free time, even though I do it for a living, whatever the case may be. But
Hmm.
still, when I go out and I do that, like that's time for me. That's like my, like you said, like I get my zen, like
Yeah.
that's my shit. And it's funny, because I just had my shed hunt giveaway, and one of the guys that won. His name's Miles, and we were driving down to Arizona to meet up with Rogue Outdoorsman. But him and I were having that energy talk and stuff. And I was like, dude, do you ever like just follow the wind? And he's like, what? I was like, do you ever just follow the wind? Like when you're out shed hunting, do you ever just have the wind take you to where you go? He's like, whoa. He's like, no, I've never really thought about it like that. He's like, I've always like listened to birds or squirrels or something like that. And if I hear a noise over this direction, like I hike it. But for myself, I really do follow the wind sometimes too. Like I'll feel the direction of the wind and I'll go with it. It may sound weird or whatever, but
No,
it just, that's, I don't know. I feel like I'm just connected when I'm out in the hills. That's just,
same.
I don't know.
No, you say that, and it's funny. I was actually thinking this, and I forgot I even had this thought process last weekend walking around. But there's times where I feel the wind, and we're so connected with technology all the time. And a lot of times you get back out there and you don't have that connection. You don't have service anymore, which is honestly, for the most part, a really good thing. And wandering around, you're right, just finally the sun came out this last weekend and I could feel it on my skin, and walking around and feeling that breeze, I realized I was kind of like walking with my hands open like this, like you would for meditation, and
uh-huh.
just like walking, embracing nature. And I just remember at one point being like, if someone saw me right now, like they would be like, what in the hell is she doing? But it felt so good. I didn't even care. So I totally get that, because it's when you can have that truly connection. And I think you said like that, find that Zen moment, there really is nothing like it. So I love hearing that, a cool bearded dude like you can be so open about having the moments outdoors and just following the wind.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I think it's important. I wish more guys, and I think that's what happens around the campfire, and maybe even a few of them, if you get a couple drinks in them, then they open up about,
Yeah.
being a little more like one with the wind.
Some
But
whiskey courage.
yeah, exactly. I think it is important, and I think it's okay for people to realize like, and I to understand if someone loves outdoors and they're always wanting to go out, maybe take a step back. If you're feeling frustrated with your spouse or whoever that they're wanting that, just realize that's kind of their time to reconnect with themselves so that they can come back and be better for themselves and you. I think that's
Oh,
important too.
absolutely. I full-heartedly believe that. And my wife, she can testify. If I get a little cranky or something like that,
Mhm.
she's like, you need to go for a hike.
Yeah, it's time.
She'll straight up tell you, like, you need to go. Like,
Yeah. Yep. I've done that with my husband before. Okay, it's time. It's time for you to go, sir. Part of that midday slump, like me, I know I am. And I have something that is my secret, and it works so well. It's not coffee and it's not an energy drink. It helps on and off the mountain, and I'm going to show you. No more gatekeeping. What is my secret? It is Mountain Ops Ignite, and I'm going to show you how I make it. All I need is 1 scoop or trail pack of the Ignite added to water, and it delivers a smooth, long-lasting, great tasting energy and focus without the jitters or crash. It is a clean, healthy energy alternative to help you conquer the day. I love this, like I said, immediately before or during a hike, a hunt, a strenuous activity, a long day in the office when I really just need that little boost to get me through and that focus to concentrate. It helps me keep up with my boys on the mountain. There's nothing more than I want to be able to go with them and enjoy it, and Ignite helps for that little boost of energy, function, and mental sharpness. You are thinking, yes, I need all this, and I definitely don't need another cup of coffee, and I'm done with the energy drinks, and you want to try Mountain Ops Ignite. The best way to go, and I'll tell you this from experience, is starting with the Ignite sampler. It comes with 5 convenient trail packs, so that way you can try the flavors, see what works for you, and see what it is you want to add into your everyday routine for that energy and focus. Do you think over the last couple years with social media and everything, that have you seen a spike in shed hunting?
oh yeah,
Big time.
there's a big time spike,
Yeah.
especially within the last probably 3-4 years. I'd say there's a huge spike in shed hunting. And like that's the thing though, is like I'm not gonna get mad at more
Mm-hmm.
people joining and doing that, because what you don't understand is like when you find a shed, that's a dopamine dump. Like
Oh,
you
major.
get adrenaline. Like
Yeah.
I mean for myself, I know I do. Like, and it's funny, like I watch some other people shed hunt and stuff, and they're like, oh, that's a good antler, you know, like, and just kind of monotone and stuff. And they find like a 400-inch set and they're just like, yeah, that's all
Whatever.
right. Yeah, no, yeah. And dude,
Like
if
they
I find stuff like that, I'm losing my shit. You know what I
getting
mean?
shaky,
Oh yeah.
fill it all
Seeing
over again.
it's one of my favorite things though is to take somebody out shed hunting for their very
Mm.
first time, and
Mhm.
especially when they find their first shed while hiking with myself. Like I don't know, I get just as jacked for other people than I do for myself, you know.
Yeah.
Of course there's a little bit of jealousy, don't, I'm not gonna lie about it. Like when other people find some, you know, some cool stuff, yeah, of course there's jealousy, but at the same time it's like, all right, hell yeah, there's
Yeah,
other stuff here, you know, like, and so it just gets me motivated to know that there's more stuff around, you know. So
definitely. How do you feel like you continue to stay successful in finding sheds when there's more people out there?
consistency.
Consistency.
I would say consistency with everything though. That's
Mm.
not just shed hunting, that's just life in general. Like if you want to be successful and you want to do something with yourself, you have to consistently be doing something.
Mhm.
And I don't know, I even now, like yeah, I do it full time, but all these people think I hike every single day. No, like I have so many other things that I'm worrying about too, rather than just shed hunting. Like I have, you know, probably like 10 different revenue streams that I have coming in that I'm, you know, making sure everything's hunky dory with everything else, you know.
Yeah.
And so even still, like I'm only maybe hiking 1 or 2 days a week still. And I don't know, it's just I make my own schedule though. So
Mhm.
that's kind of the benefit that I have, you know, and that's something that I worked for though. Like I was consistent with that. That's something that I wanted to strive and do. Like
Hell yeah.
we're at the point now too where I'm providing for my family and my wife can stay at home and take care of baby girl, you know.
Mhm.
So I don't know. I do feel just being consistent is probably the best thing you can do, especially with shed hunting.
Totally. And yeah, like you said, just in life in general. But I think that's the thing too, when people think of, oh, everybody's out shed hunting, la di da di da. It's like, yeah, but how many of those people get burnt out? Because they don't
Hmm.
realize really it's not just walking around finding sheds. Like there's so much more to it. And I just don't think, again, they're staying consistent with that. I also think it's cool too that you touched on the fact that you created this life. Like, yeah, you may
Hmm.
look at you and thinking you're going all the time, but people don't realize too, in the online space, as cool as it is, being able to do YouTube, make videos, go hiking and find sheds, there's so much more in the day to day of just, besides just like he's just
Oh
filming
yeah.
hunts and putting it on YouTube.
Oh no.
Like,
Like that's the thing though, is like I grind more now than I did at my 9 to 5 job than I thought, you know, like
mhm.
I did a lot of grinding then. No, I do more now than I have ever done in my entire life. But I enjoy it. Like that's the part that I enjoy though. I love the grind. Like don't get me wrong, there's
Yes.
times that it's just like, what am I doing with my life? Like
Mhm.
what have I done? What monster have I created? You know?
Yeah.
But no, I love the fact that my stress is my stress. I'm not
Mhm.
worried about making somebody else money. I'm not worrying about, you know, Joe Schmo over here, like I have to get this job done by this deadline. Da, da, da. No, like my stress is my stress.
Mhm.
And it's cool to say, like, for my wife too. We want to go somewhere. We want to go to St. George, visit her family. All right, let's go. You
Yeah.
know, I don't have to check in with anybody, you know.
Mhm.
So that's let's put it this way: if Rise and Shed didn't work out, I would have a very hard time going back and working for somebody else. I really would, just
Right.
because I've done this almost for 4 years now, full time, and I don't know, I love having the freedom to do whatever the hell I want to do.
Hell
So
yes. Yeah. I always say too, I would always work I do what I do because I want to work my own schedule, but I also will work 10 times harder and longer for myself than I ever would have for any other employer.
yeah,
Like it just is what it is. And you don't realize all the hours you're going to end up putting in.
exactly.
I was asking my husband, I'm like, you have any like questions for Wes or anything. And we were kind of talking this last weekend as we've been watching some bowls. Now I'm going to be using your tips. I might have to leave the kids, find them a sitter so I can use that grid system and just stay out there all damn day.
There you go.
When the time comes that they drop. But he was curious if you knew, like, if it's just an old wives' tale or what, but he heard that after they drop, the animals like move out. It's done and over.
Mm-hmm.
They
will
that's
move
true.
that area, move out of that area. Yes.
And they're done. Interesting. Okay, good to know. So there you go, Cody. I asked for you.
Typically once they shed, they'll move that out of that area.
They're donezo. They're out of there. How interesting.
And
they usually, oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, unless somebody pushed them out.
Right, that's true. Yeah.
So,
and that's another big thing. Don't push the animals around.
Yeah, there's a lot of different factors that go into all this stuff.
Yeah, it's so interesting. I'm sure you've learned a lot over the years just watching everything.
Well, even with all the shed hunting I've done, I feel it's made me a better hunter.
Oh, I'm sure. Just sitting watching animals
all the time. Yeah, absolutely. Well, and then there's even times when I'm out shed hunting, like I want to practice how close can I get to this animal before they know I'm even here. So I don't know. I do it sometimes. Just sneak up on animals, just see how close I can get.
Oh, same. That is, and I'll do it with my little guys too. And it's pretty cool watching them being able to do that. Because bow hunting has my heart through and through. So that is like, oh yeah, that's my sweet spot. Since I was a little girl, I was like the weird little kid. I'm maybe not weird, but I had a bow and my dad would try and pay me $100 if I'd wear a dress to school. And nope, I was wearing my camouflage jeans and my Hanson t-shirt and I was going
Hanson.
Mbop. Yeah, and that was my after school activity is I'd sit in the backyard and I would sit and shoot my bow.
That's badass.
Yeah, since I was just a little kid. I don't know, there's something about the bow hunt. And I think that's because one of my first memories is the bow hunt with my dad. In like August, it's warm and watching the aspens flicker in the wind, you know.
Oh yeah.
So I like being able to try and sneak up on something and see how close you can get.
Heck yeah.
Yeah. So Cooper, you met Cooper. He's my 11-year-old. You met him and he was just like, oh, meeting you, thinking you were so cool. I think in his head too, after we sat and talked to you, he didn't realize that was something that you could do for a living. And he lives, breathes. I mean, we have a deer decoy in my backyard right now. They pop up the tent. They're in the backyard calling in turkeys, playing pretend. Yeah. So he just thought that was so cool knowing like, wow, that's a career I could make, you know? But he was kind of curious. How many sheds do you think you pick up in a year?
In a year?
Yeah. I was like, dang, Coop.
Let's put it this way. It varies from year to year, but between deer and elk, I find a lot more deer sheds than I do elk, but I would say I pick up close to 400 sheds a year.
Wow.
Between everything. Yeah.
Nice. That's awesome. And you're shed hunting other states because like you said, you just got back from Arizona.
Yes, ma'am.
Are you mainly just the Western states where you're shed hunting?
Yep. So I'll usually hit Utah, Arizona, and New Mexico just because they do not have the shed closures. But then once May 1st hits, I pound the shit out of Nevada. I love Nevada and Colorado and Wyoming. So nice. I mean, trust me, I go all over the place. I actually don't really hit Idaho that much. I don't really hit Montana. And what's crazy is the best days I've ever had was in California, out of all places. Yeah. I picked up more sheds in a day in California than I have anywhere else.
Wow.
Yeah. Don't trust me. Like even as I was driving out to California, like
what am I doing?
Exactly. I'm like, am I driving this far just to like get my ass kicked, you know?
Yeah.
No, had the best 2 days of shed hunting I've ever had, numbers wise, out in California.
Well, that's awesome. Yeah, where did you get the idea to go to California? Did you know somebody?
Yeah, so Hambone Hammond on Instagram, David Hammond, he actually hit me up and he told me, hey bro, like you need to come out to California, like we've been finding some sheds and stuff. And I honestly just kind of wanted to, you know, just meet people. I just wanted to go out and meet somebody new, and I had never shed hunted in California. So I was like, all right, let's try it.
Yeah.
But yeah, even the ride down, I even thought like, I am so dumb. Like this is going to be the biggest ass whooping.
Hmm.
Oh no, it was complete opposite. And it was just Ryan, David and Cordell, and we, I think, picked up over 130 antlers in 2 days. It
Wow.
was crazy
That's
town. It
awesome.
was stupid. Yeah.
It's stupid. That's
Yeah.
cool. Have you been back?
No, that's the thing, is I haven't been
Oh,
back. Yeah, I need to. Get
yeah.
back there.
Make a trip to California.
Oh
That's
yeah.
cool. I like those pleasantly surprised ones.
Hmm.
Something like that, especially that long of a drive too.
Yep, exactly.
You mentioned obviously in the beginning when you were telling your story how you ended up doing apparel as well. I know that's a large part of what you do. Obviously, I keep having these rise and shed boxes show up at my house, Wes.
Yeah.
I'm like, what is this, Cody? Which I'm all about, clearly, but it's making me giggle the other night. Coop's like, oh, my back hurts. Cody's like, let me get out this rub for you, Cooper. Let's go.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So can you tell everybody about, I know you've got a lot happening with your apparel and I believe a giveaway too.
Yeah,
You're
so
still doing that?
yes, ma'am.
All right.
So this year I'm doing 3 shed hunt giveaways. And so right now this month you have only, I think, what, 3 days left, 1 day left.
Yeah.
When's the 31st? What's today? The 29th,
Tomorrow.
30th?
Yeah, it's
Oh
almost April.
shit. Yeah, I need to
Yeah.
even be posting about that. But anyway, so basically I do a shed hunt giveaway where you go onto my website and you can make any purchase that will get you put into the shed hunt giveaway. It's an all expense paid. So once you meet up with me, I take care of all the food, drinks, water, all that stuff. Like, just, I pay for everything, gas, all of it. And then we go to a spot. And luckily I've had some awesome friends that want to help participate in the shed hunt
Cool.
giveaway, and we go out to a spot and we honestly do very well. It seems like every trip I've had with my winners, we've had good trips. So I'm
Good.
very, very thankful for having good friends that want to help out and take us to some awesome spots. But then even this month, if you spend $50 or more at my website, you're put in for a Kafaru backpack. It's a Striker XL, which is actually the same backpack that I use. And then I now have a t-shirt subscription. And so if you sign up for that, you're put in for next month's giveaway automatically if you sign up for the t-shirt subscription. So, I mean, this is all trial and error. I don't know what I'm doing really. It's just
Is this your
everything.
first time doing giveaways?
So
Like this?
This is actually my 3rd year doing shed hunt
Oh,
giveaways.
cool. Cool.
But like the first year I ever did it, I only did the one, and Mr. Sean Clark won that, and we went down to Southern Utah and had a great time. Last year I did 3, and then this year I'm doing 3. And honestly, I'm doing that just because I want to help give back to the people that support me, and obviously it sucks that not everybody can win, not everybody can go out on hikes and do all that, but it's just some way that I feel better about myself, that people are spending their hard-earned money at my website, that like I want to be able to give back somehow. And so that's even with the subscription, like I'm trying to throw in just free goodies and all that other stuff, just to like show these people like, hey, thank you, like I appreciate what you're doing for me. So
Yeah, I think that sounds super exciting. And I've seen on Instagram people are like fingers crossed, hoping that they're winning. That sounds cool. I'm glad you guys had a good successful hunt too this last time around.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Yeah. Do you have anything else exciting coming up? Any adventures? Obviously you're going to be hitting the hills shed hunting as we're right in the midst of the season.
Yeah, I just have my so whoever wins this month, we're gonna be going down to Wyoming. And that's what's funny is people are like, oh, Wyoming has a shed closure, blah blah blah. How you doing that? The east side of Wyoming is open, so you can go out there. But we're gonna be going out there with my buddy Preston. That should be a good time. And then after that, we'll be going to Nevada for the next shed hunt giveaway when that opens in May. So doing that, and then I also film for a TV show. It's called Hunt Wars, and so we have some awesome hunts planned out this year that I'll be, able to film, and that's something that I thoroughly enjoy doing. I love filming other people too. like it's fun to do my thing, but
Hmm.
when I get to actually just focus on filming, I thoroughly enjoy that. Like, and I even love editing. I love taking, raw footage and adding music to it and creating a feeling that people can enjoy. To me, that's fun. I don't know. But yeah, and then just obviously during the summer, hopefully we can get baby girl out on some vacations, go up to
Yeah.
the river up in Idaho. Jess's family, they have a little cabin up there and stuff. And so we go up to
Oh,
Idaho
cool.
every year. And so it'll be fun to take little doe up there and, just, it's just going to be fun just learning, I guess, how to be a dad, a better parent and stuff.
Yeah.
And, no, like I said, nobody just tells you how to do all these
Oh,
things. Nobody wrote a
no.
book of how like to do shed hunting and be a dad and run your business. And so, yeah,
No, I
it's a lot of
agree.
fun.
That's I tell all of my friends that are getting ready to have babies. I'm like, nobody knows what they're doing. We're all just like making it up as we go. Like,
Yeah.
and everything works differently for different families and different kids. It's all so different. Up in Idaho, are you guys going to be fishing the river?
We're gonna try. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I just love being outdoors in general, and so
Right.
I'll bring a fishing pole and stuff. Usually, I get my ass kicked up there, but I'm still
Mm,
just gonna take it just for fun.
nice, nice. I Cody and I want to go up to Idaho and go fish sturgeon. That is like the bucket
Yes,
list.
yes, I'm
Yes.
down with that. See, either
Yeah.
sturgeon or steelhead. I want to
Yeah.
find, I mean, catch some big steelhead too.
Right. Yeah. I look forward to the day that happens. He used to actually work up in Idaho and he'd go try and catch him a sturgeon and he swears he caught one and just broke the line. So
Where did he work in Idaho?
up by Idaho Falls. This was
Oh,
like
okay,
10 years ago. Yeah.
gotcha.
Yeah. Or maybe it was Twin Falls. I don't know.
Either one.
Up by Hagerman? Does that sound
I
right?
actually know Hagerman too. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah, like they have watermelon. Are they known for their watermelons or something? I don't know. That's where we would like to go and
gotcha.
spend forever. But yeah, so hopefully, maybe you can catch something. That'd be sweet.
Oh yeah.
Well, I appreciate you coming on. Where can everybody find you? Tell us all the details so they can go ahead and stalk you.
So my apparel, you can find it at riseandshed.com. That's also my tag on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, all that stuff. Just Rise and Shed.
Cool. Well, thanks so much for coming on, Wes. And then hopefully maybe we can get you back like closer to the fall or whatever and see how all those giveaway hunts went. That would be awesome.
Absolutely. No, thank you. I appreciate you
Cool.
taking the time and having me on.
Yeah, you're